Say hi, Ginkle. Hi, mommy. Hi, guys. Welcome to my channel. Again, it's been a long time since I've done a video like this, but this is a video that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, but I wanted to wait until I can do it with Chloe. And because culturally, I say culturally for a reason, but because culturally you don't show your baby until after you dedicate them in the house of the Lord, I wanted to wait until that point gone, and then, I would show you this beautiful face here. So hi everyone, this is Chloe. This is my daughter. She's 3 months old. She is such a lovely girl, but maybe I'm biased. I'm only saying that because it's my daughter. No, I think most people consider her to be very lovely. So just to make this really quick, I'm going to summarize. Essentially, I had a delivery date of September 29th or September 30th. And I believe that my OBGYN casually said plus or minus 2 weeks, but never really stressed it. So I was really anticipating having this precious girl either before the 29th or on the 29th. My pregnancy was really good. I had some morning sickness in the first trimester. Nothing, too alarming. Second trimester was phenomenal. Third trimester was really good until the last few weeks. I was really restless. I was losing sleep, discomfort. This little girl was kicking on my spine, my ribs, having Braxton Hicks contractions, which are, false labor contractions. And I was just going through what a lot of pregnant women go through in their third trimester. So I want to say on the 28th, Saturday on the 28th, I was having really strong contractions. And I don't think that I was in labor, but I remember having extreme pain on my right side by my ribs, and I was a little alarmed. This is my first pregnancy. This is my first child, my only child. So I really didn't know what to expect. I did casually hear or read somewhere on the internet that, sometimes the baby might kick on your ribs and stuff, and you might feel that, but it didn't feel like any kicking. It just felt like a constant pain. So I just wanted to make sure I was okay. I wanted to make sure the baby was okay. So I went to the hospital. When I went to the hospital, they checked me. They saw that I wasn't really dilated. So apparently, in order to have a baby come out of your vajayjay, you need to be 10 centimeters dilated, right? I think I was about 1 centimeter dilated. Now, I had been a centimeter dilated for about 3 weeks. So that was really disappointing news to hear that I made no progress. Pretty much, they told me if I didn't plan to get an induction or to have a C-section or anything like that, they couldn't keep me in the hospital. So I went home. That was Saturday. Sunday is my due date. No baby. I'm in extreme discomfort. I'm tired. I'm restless. I'm impatient. Monday comes around. I believe that is the 30th or the 31st. I can't remember. But Monday comes around. I think I stayed home as well. And then on Tuesday, Monday I had a doctor's appointment. So Monday comes around. I have a doctor's appointment with my OBGYN who was on a week-long vacation. So I was also ignorantly praying that this baby would not come during the time that she would be on vacation. God answered that prayer. And so Chloe did not come. And then, so at my doctor's appointment, the doctor said, it looks like I might be like 2 centimeters dilated. I did progress a bit. She said that my cervix was pretty open and anything could happen. However, she said, looks like I'm having an 8-pound baby or more. So it's a 60-40 chance that I might get a C-section. 40% being C-section, 60% being vaginal birth or natural vaginal delivery, whatever it's called. she did also mention that my baby is posterior, meaning that the baby's head is facing up. So in the womb, or when the baby's about to come out, the baby usually has their head facing down to come out of the birth canal. However, Chloe was facing up. This is now Monday, the 31st. I was not made aware of anything that I could possibly do to have her switch positions or anything like that. I was just told that she's facing up and 60-40 chance of C-section, which is something that I did not want to hear because I was trusting God for a supernatural childbirth. I did not want to take any epidural, anything. I wanted to just labor naturally, shoot my baby out. That's what I was praying for 10 months. That's what I was believing God for. So yeah, I was a little disappointed to hear that. And she suggested that I could go to the hospital if they had time, since I was in extreme discomfort, and get a natural or synthetic hormone actually called Pitocin, which would essentially augment my my contractions or my labor. And what that is it's not really induction, but it's augmentation, in that it's a synthetic hormone that my body actually produces. And when they give you levels of Pitocin, it'll help you to labor. Like, you'll get contractions more stronger. So it sounded great to me. Initially, I did not want to do it, but I said, okay, let me just go for it. So I go to the hospital. The doctor that's on call checks me. He's like, I'm only getting 1 centimeter dilator. That's odd because my doctor just told me 2, but nevertheless, he asked me about my birth plan, tell me what's going on, why are you here? I told him. He's like, well, if you're believing God for a natural delivery and this is what you want, I would highly recommend you not get Pitocin, because although it's not induction, it's not natural. I mean, it's like we're pretty much creating this like labor experience for you. Don't worry, your baby will come out when the baby's time. You'll know. So I went home. The trip home was extreme because, whether you know it or not, every time they check your cervix, like put their little fingers in there, it kind of like opens you up a little bit more, and it just, I don't know, for some reason you just get stronger and stronger contractions. So my contractions were super strong. My husband even asked if I wanted to turn back around. And I had said, no, I don't think that's necessary. Let me just go home and just pray and wish for the best. I go home, still discomfort. The next day, I go on a long walk. I speak to, my little circle, tell them what's going on. I speak to one of my close confidants, which is Lady Leslie. She told me, just walk. Baby's going to come out. Do a lot of walking. Do a little... and the baby's going to come out. Now, as I'm on my walk, I thought that that's what I was going to do. Then I got home and I'm like, I don't know, babe, telling my husband, like, I don't know what's going on. And he's like, oh, well, maybe you should get the Pitocin. Maybe you should get the Pitocin, just to speed stuff up because you are very uncomfortable. And it's now 2-3 days after your due date. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go. So now it's Tuesday, October 1st. We go to the hospital. We actually get checked in now. I'm like, yeah, give me that Pitocin. And everything's gonna go well. Long story short, I labored for 12 hours naturally with the Pitocin, no epidural, because I was under the impression that what the doctor said about me getting, levels of Pitocin would increase the contractions and baby would come out. 12 hours later, no Chloe. Every time they checked me, I was still just 1 centimeter to 1.5 at most dilated. So now they're like, it's against protocol for you to just keep laboring naturally. What you want to do, actually, before 12 hours is up, the doctor on call, because my doctor was nowhere to be found, don't know why, but the doctor on call was like, do you want us to induce you, just break your water? Which at that point, I was like, do what you got to do, because I don't know, because I had read Supernatural Childbirth by Jackie Mitzi, because I was believing God for a natural delivery, and I was praying concerning it, the contractions were extreme. They were coming 2 to 3 minutes apart or whatever like that. But I mentally did not know how long I'd be able to uh, labor naturally, since every time I was getting checked, I was still 1 centimeter dilated. So I got my water broken and nothing happened. So at this point, it's now 12 hours. I'm on like level 14 of Pitocin because they increase it by increments of 2. I'm on level 14. I started at 2, I think. And the contractions are wild. I'm like rolling on this ball, breathing and stuff. No baby. So then I'm like, listen, give me this epidural, because if you told me, okay, now you're 4 centimeters dilated, then mentally I'd be able to endure. But because I continue to be 1 centimeter dilated, I need an epidural. I get the epidural. The doctor on call is like, hey, listen, it looks like you're going to have a C-section because your baby is getting stuck in the birth canal. You have a very narrow pelvic, which one, I'm not sure. And your baby's, because your baby is 8 pounds or more, the widest part of her head, since she's coming out head up, look, she was this nosy since the womb, but since she's coming out head up, the widest part of her head is trying to come out first, and she's getting stuck. And the doctor even told me, like, when she checked, she's like, your baby's head is kind of like a cone-shaped head because she's getting stuck in the birth canal. So she's trying to push herself through. And I'm like, cone? What? She's like, no worries. It happens. It's not something to be alarmed about. It'll shape back into its regular shape. But she's like, you're going to need a C-section. So at this point, I'm bawling. I'm calling people. They're like, oh, don't worry. The baby's going to come out. La, 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 la. And I'm like bawling. I'm like, I can't believe this. This is what I was believing God for. I was believing God for vaginal birth, a supernatural childbirth. How did this happen? I can't believe I didn't even know until the 31st that my baby was posterior. If I had known, I would have done exercises to have her turn. Oh, whatever. Long story short, after they gave me the epidural, they said we can give you like another hour. So they gave me like an hour or two as I fell asleep because I was so exhausted from laboring naturally. So, like after an hour or two, me bawling and sleeping and bawling, they were like, you gotta get a C-section. So I got a C-section. And I was so shaken up in the operating room that actually I was like, the anesthesiologist was like, we can give you something for you shaking after the operation. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just nervous. So I think because I was just so overwhelmed and stuff, after the operation, my blood pressure was through the roof. Okay, through the roof. They had to give me magnesium to kind of control it. Now, with magnesium, you are bedbound. You cannot eat. It's like you're fasting. You can't eat. You can eat clears, so like Jello and water. But you are bedbound. You can't move. And you have this catheter because of the C-section, and there's just a whole bunch of stuff. So while I had this beautiful, precious girl, I was not able to take care of her because I had made myself so overwhelmed that my blood pressure was through the roof, and they had to give me magnesium. So had it not been for my mother, God bless that woman. Honestly, I don't know what I would do without her. They wouldn't have even given me Chloe to take, like I wouldn't have been able to spend a night with Chloe after I gave birth to her. But because my mom, being, an employee of the NICU for over 30 years and really know how to manage babies, they allowed me to stay with Chloe. I was so emotional. I felt like a failure of a woman. I just felt like a complete failure. I was not blaming God. I never once blamed God, but I blamed myself. I thought, like, what the heck? What did I do? And then when my child started crying at night, that first night, and I was not able to get up to attend to her, it broke me. I was bawling. But my mom, glory be to God, was there. The next day, when they checked, when the tech or whatever checked my blood pressure, it was high again because I was bawling all night. And here comes African mom. Listen, me and my granddaughter, we will leave you in this hospital. So I was like, all right, come back, please. I'm going to calm myself down. I promise you it'll get better. Glory be to God. It did get better, but yeah. So upon reflection, upon praying about it, days, weeks later, I really had to figure out what went wrong, because a lot of things was happening to me. Like I was thinking, this is definitely a family thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm being attacked. This is in the bloodline, etc., etc. And the Lord revealed to me that I had a C-section because I was impatient. It had nothing to do with Chloe being stuck, as the doctor said. Now, granted, that happens with a lot of women, and so I'm not canceling anyone else's experience. However, specific to me, I had a C-section because I went ahead of God. When you're believing God for something, you have to make sure you're... What happened, sweetie? Mm-hmm. When you're believing God for something, you have to make sure your actions match that which you believe God for. Faith without works is dead. And I was reading the scriptures in Galatians 4. The Bible says in the fullness of time, God had sent his son. God sent his son. The doctors didn't come and open up Mary and take his son out before the fullness of time. So specific to my situation, I did not allow for the fullness of time to come in order for God to give me that which I was believing for, which is a supernatural childbirth. Even speaking to my best friend who's a midwife, she said to me that she truly believes that I would have been able to have vaginal delivery had I waited. I did not take into consideration the plus or minus 2 weeks. Because my due date came around and I was tired, fatigued, first birth, and you're first pregnancy, and you're tired, and you're like, no, this is the due date, and so baby has to come now. I didn't allow for the manifestation of what I was believing for to happen. So essentially it was my fault. And it was a major lesson that I learned about not only trusting God for something supernatural or trusting God for a miracle. Not that it is a miracle too. It really is. I think it's God's will, but not only trusting God for that, but also allowing my actions to match the faith that I apparently have in God. It makes absolutely no sense to trust God to do something for you and then go ahead of him when that which you're believing God for doesn't happen when you think it's supposed to happen. So to anyone here who may be believing God for a baby, believing God for anything, and the manifestation of that which you're believing God for has not come, wait upon the Lord. Thus says the Lord. Wait upon him to renew your strength and allow the fullness of time to be complete before you go ahead of him. Nonetheless, in all things we give thanks, because this perfect child is mine, and she's here, and she's healthy. Bible says every good and perfect thing comes from above. So I bless God for this beautiful girl. She is such a blessing to us. She's such a lovely baby. She was 8 pounds, 2 ounces. It had something to do with the watermelon and the egg rolls that I was eating like almost every day up until like the last few weeks, up until I gave birth. But the recovery was phenomenal. I recovered like so quickly. Few days. I was driving and everything. I know they say not to do that, so don't tell my OB. And also, after 6 weeks, I went to the gym like twice, and then I was like, nah, I'm good. To those of you who are interested about like how I was able to like lose my baby weight so fast, ask your mama, don't ask me, because I really don't know, honestly. I thank God, maybe it's genetics. I don't know. Honestly, I can't tell you what I was doing. I didn't eat healthy. I wasn't working out. God has just been good to me. Even when I went ahead of him, he still gave me this blessed girl. Say hi, Kinko. Hi. Hi. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram. Chloe is at Chloe Quartz, CloeKwart. She's going to Hollywood with her agent, who's her grandma. And so just follow her journey there. And we'll check you at another time. God bless you so much. Take care.